On October 10, Carles Puigdemont, the president of the regional government of Catalonia, made an ambiguous declaration of independence. Although stating that Catalonia's regional parliament assumed the mandate to declare the region an independent republic, he asked the assembly to suspend the declaration for some weeks to negotiate with the national government. The central government, led by Mariano Rajoy of the Conservative People's Party (PP), is seeking to raise pressure on the regional government, hoping that the pro-independence coalition backing it unravels. Mr. Rajoy has asked Mr. Puigdemont to clarify whether Catalonia has legally declared independence, which would serve as the first step towards suspending regional autonomy using Article 155 of the Spanish Constitution. At this stage, Mr. Puigdemont could formally declare independence, hoping to provoke an overreaction from the government. He could call a regional election unilaterally in an effort to paper over cracks in his majority of nationalist parties in the Catalan parliament, or he could seek to build a stronger majority that includes the Catalan affiliate of Podemos. We believe that a unilateral declaration of independence is narrowly the most likely outcome, as allowing the national government to suspend autonomy and call an election could save face for Mr. Puigdemont and his Catalan Democratic Party (PDECAT). We maintain our forecast that Catalonia will remain part of Spain, but that serious tensions in the region will persist for the foreseeable future. On October 10, Mr. Puigdemont addressed the regional parliament to assume the mandate that Catalonia become an independent state in the form of a republic. The central government has responded prudently, requesting a formal clarification of the ambiguous statement before taking any exceptional measures. Mr. Puigdemont's statement stopped short of a hard declaration of independence and was not put to a vote in the regional parliament. Moreover, he clearly sought to cloak the statement in ambiguity, immediately proposing that Parliament suspend the effects of the Declaration of Independence. Again, this second proposal was not put to a vote. The Catalan government's stated intention is to postpone independence for a few weeks pending the outcome of a hypothetical dialogue with the central government, which is unlikely to materialize. That is, the statement represented yet another tactical move designed to ramp up the pressure on the central government and possibly trigger an ill-judged reaction. A cautious response from the central government. Mr. Rajoy's initial response was one of caution. He suspended a scheduled public appearance on the evening of October 10 and opened late-night consultations with the leaders of the main opposition parties, Pedro Sánchez of the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party (PSOE) and Albert Rivera of Ciudadanos Citizens. On October 11, an extraordinary cabinet meeting agreed not to take any exceptional measures for the time being. Instead, the national government has requested legal clarification. The request would also serve as the first formal step towards triggering Article 155 of the Spanish Constitution, which would allow the Spanish government to suspend home rule in one of its regions with the approval of the Spanish Senate, the upper house of Parliament. Article 155 requires the government to request clarification from the president of a regional government that it views as having failed to fulfill its constitutional duties before taking steps to curtail autonomy. If there is no response from the regional administration, the government may move ahead with the debate in the Senate, where Mr. Rajoy's PP controls an absolute majority. Article 155 has never been used and is shrouded in legal uncertainty. Mr. Rajoy set no deadline for a response, however, and it would be likely to take several days to utilize Article 155. Under pressure from all sides, Mr. Puigdemont faces difficult choices. Spain's prime minister has thus decided to raise incrementally pressure on the regional government in the hope that Mr. Puigdemont's coalition might unravel. Severe cracks have already appeared within the pro-independence alliance, Junts pel Sí JPS, Together for Yes, which controls 62 seats in the 135-seat regional legislature, and the radical nationalist, anti-capitalist Popular Unity Candidates CUP, which controls 8 seats. On the one hand, moderate sectors of the PDECAT, Mr. Puigdemont's traditional business-friendly party and one of the member parties of JPS, are now visibly alarmed by the recent exodus of Catalan-headquartered companies to other parts of Spain and by a growing realization that the economic consequences of unilateral secession could be catastrophic. On the other hand, the ambiguous statement on independence has drawn the ire of the CUP, which has warned that it will withdraw its support for the government if independence is not made effective within 1 month. The CUP has said that it will not appear in future parliamentary sessions. The Spanish government has insisted that it will not enter negotiations unless the Catalan executive rectifies its current strategy, which is in open defiance of the constitutional order and agrees to adhere to the established rule of law. Mr. Puigdemont seems to have 3 main options. he could proceed to make effective the Declaration of Independence, in which case the national government will invoke Article 155 of the Spanish Constitution to assume direct control over some aspects of the regional government, such as the powers to dissolve the regional parliament and call fresh elections. Mr. Puigdemont could call an election on his own initiative, possibly to paper over cracks within his governing majority. The regional president could attempt to build a new majority in the Catalan parliament, jettisoning the CUP and securing the support of the populist left Catalunya Sí que es pot CSQEP, 11 seats, which is affiliated with Podemos. CSQEP rejects unilateral secession, but supports a legal referendum on self-determination. An agreement with CSQEP could allow Mr. Puigdemont to implement a tactical retreat, and then move to consolidated national and international support for a negotiated, legal referendum. A formal declaration of independence appears to be the most likely outcome at present. Mr. Puigdemont seems most likely to formalize the Declaration of Independence. PDECAT will have lost credibility as a result of Mr. Puigdemont's ambiguity and could face defeat at the polls if it does not run in coalition with Catalan Republican Left ERC, another member of JPS, as it did in 2015. Mr. Puigdemont's party trails ERC, polling on about 8% according to a survey conducted for El Español, a newspaper, after the October 1 referendum. By comparison, support for ERC was estimated at nearly 32%. This suggests that it would not be advantageous for the regional president to call an election unilaterally. Meanwhile, it remains unclear if CSQEP will be willing to negotiate. Allowing the government to suspend regional autonomy and call a vote itself could play into Mr. Puigdemont's hands, inspiring sympathy for the embattled Catalan leader and his party within the region. The past 2 days' events do not change our baseline forecast that Catalonia will remain part of Spain. However, as the standoff between the regional and the national government continues, tensions in the region will remain high. Relations between Spain and Catalonia, and between nationalists and unionists within the region have been badly damaged and will not improve over the near term.